Good evening, everyone. Hi. It's been such a long time. I've not been here since forever. Did you miss me?
Well, you've been always with me, so it's fine.
Welcome to everyone, including those via FB and YouTube Live, as well as the ones who are on the Love 101 Facebook page and the YouTube channel. Family Time is about your issues and your relationships, your at-home family, your community family, and your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to enable healthy families, which will lead to healthy nations. Stay with us and please join in. We are Audra and
AnTwain Williams. So, guess what? 49 years ago today, this couple said I do to each other. Wow. And they are still together. 49 not out. That's very good. Let's see if we can get to the century. So, what are some of the things that they've done? Well, they've started a family as well as a business. You may have heard of it. Family Life Ministries. Yes. And that is a business which in large part is responsible for this program. So kudos to them.
So they're also known as Dr. Barrington. And well, they're known as Dr. Barrington and Beverly Davidson, also known as FLM
Royalty.
So now while AnTwain and I help Dr. D and Lady Bev relive their marriage experiences, here's what we want you to do. Share with us your memories and thoughts of this Davidson couple. WhatsApp your text and voice notes and make sure it's no longer than 30 seconds to 876-997-3125 or post on the Love 101 Facebook page or call the studio lines 876-978-8327 or 876-968-8328 to participate. And throughout the program, we'll share it. Guess what? We'll be right back.
Kid, what you doing here? I come to sort out a license. Now look at thing me I try start. But them no want help me.
That's not right. You talk to the manager?
Yes, say him too busy. But as a money man walk in, them run can help him.
Everybody have the right to fair and just treatment. That's how the Constitution go. Come, we're going on there. And this time have to help you and treat you with respect.
Everybody have rights. Brought to you by the National Family Planning Board and the Office of the Public Defender.
The first sound they make is to simply let the world know they're here. And then it's our duty to help them show the world why they're here in the first place.
Give them every advantage with the Guardian Achiever, a plan that provides for their educational dreams and protects their health and life in the process. For more information, call 888-4LIFE to speak to an advisor or visit myguardiangroup.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready for Berger's Shopper Showdown. That's right. Buy any 2 gallons of Berger eligible paints at participating hardwares and the Color Shop for a chance to win a $200,000 hardware supply shopping spree. Plus $20,000 supermarket vouchers every fortnight. Simply text the code to get your chance. Promotion ends August 14. See press and social media for details. Berger, for lasting beauty and protection.
Get on your path to greatness with Gatorade, the world's #1 sports drink, and win in the Scratch to Greatness promotion. Purchase 4 bottles of 20-ounce Gatorade from Progressive Grocers from June 28 to August 13, 2021, and scratch the card for a chance to win instant prizes or the grand prize of a home gym setup. Visit Gatorade JA on Facebook and Instagram or www.scratchtogreatness.com for more details. Participate and scratch your way to greatness with Gatorade. Authorized under Section 58.3 under the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act. Conditions apply.
Slow internet? Nah, keep again. Switch and get 1 month free on Jamaica's fastest network. Speed on over to Digicel and try our 30-day Prime bundle free for 1 month. Loaded with data, local calls, and text. Wait, it gets better. Plus, get enough more data to enjoy more of the movies, music, and sports you want with your Digicel lifestyle apps. If you're on the go, you can't afford to be slow. Switch to Jamaica's fastest network and keep your number. Visit the store today or message us at Digicel Jamaica on socials for more details. Digicel, better together.
Bring the family back, bring it back together.
Hello there. Welcome back to Family Life for Family Time. I'm so excited. To Family Time on
Love
Love
101
101 FM, Jamaica's #1 gospel station. Today, we are interviewing Dr. Barry and Beverly Davidson. They've been married for 49 years and they've agreed to share their day with us. So, do you know this couple? We want you to share your memories and your thoughts of them. So go ahead and you may WhatsApp us at 876-997-3125. If you send us a voice note, please, no more than 30 seconds. You may post on the Love 101 Facebook page, and of course, you can call the studio lines at 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328, and we'll share your views.
So, Dr. Barry, Lady Bev, how are you and how has your day been so far?
Hello, it has been very good, very good.
We've been enjoying the day together.
Yes.
Oh Lord, and it really does sound good. You hear the very good?
Very good. From deep down.
So, we're just going to jump right in. How did you meet?
Well, I will say that I met Gary at a mutual friend's house. I lived in Harborview, and one of the leader of our church group at Harborview Gospel Chapel, Donovan Case, had a party in the summer, and Barry came. Barry came to the summer party, and that's where I saw him the first time.
Oh God!
It sounds like you were excited when you saw him.
He looked a little strange. But he had a different shape from he has now. He had first very narrow waist. He's tall, of course, tall, dark, and handsome, as I always say. But he has grown rounder and more normal.
As AnTwain is expected.
Yes.
A well-rounded individual is a good one to have, let me tell you. Yes.
When did you know it was love? And when to get married at that?
Well, hold on, pause. Dr. Barry, she told us how she would have seen you first. How did how did she catch your eye?
Well, actually, her sisters attended the school that I went to, Excelsior, the high school where I went to. And her younger sister was someone that I liked. And so I went to visit the younger sister, only to discover that the younger sister was not a Christian, and I was a Christian. I was the president of the student Christian movement at Excelsior. The younger sister said, boy, he couldn't really come to me because I'm not a Christian. My bigger sister, Bev, is. And so I end up speaking with Bev rather than the younger sister. And so
oh my, good choice. Oh my, wow. That's beautiful.
That's quite interesting.
So so I'd asked before, and now you can go ahead and answer. When did you fall in love, right? And then how did you figure out, okay, now is the time to get married?
We met at 18, you know. We were 18 when we met.
But a significant thing happened. We went to a camp. It was an Easter camp, right?
Yes.
I went to this camp. You know, I was very active in Christian circles, very active in Youth for Christ, Teen Time, and was well known in those circles. And so I went to camp with two young ladies, Beverly being one, and there was another young lady. And at that camp, the speaker's wife, I didn't realize she was observing me as much. But then she came to me, and what did she say, Beth?
She says, I notice you are looking at two young ladies, but that one over there is not for you. And she pointed at me and said, this is the one.
Look at God.
Yes. And this was a woman who was known to be a prayer warrior.
Yeah, yes.
She's now gone home to be with the Lord. She's Minna Henry. We used to call her Aunt Minna. She's the mother of Lance Henry, who goes to Swallow, one of the elders at Swallow Field. And so Aunt Minna took me and counseled me properly and said, you know something, this is who God would want you to marry. I know that I know that. The other one is going to be trouble. And being a young man who wanted to please God and who took those words seriously, I decided that, you know what, let me go the way I'm going to feel is God's way for me. And so that's how shortly after we got engaged.
Yes.
Wow.
And we were married at 22, when we were both 22.
Right, because I was just about to ask about that. I noted that you said you met at 18.
Yes. Yes.
And I realized that nowadays many people are saying, that's a bit too young to know who you will marry or to get familiar with someone. You need to know yourself.
Or you need to live a little before you settle down.
That too. So how have things changed, do you think, from your days because it's 49 years since 22nd. So how would that have impacted it? I noticed that you mentioned your mentor or someone who would have really helped you to see that Beverly was the one for you, because it seemed Beverly really had a fight to reach out to you. If he wasn't one person, it was another.
From the little sister to the other young lady. She had
what really we really wanted to please God.
Yes.
And pleasing God meant that we needed to make sure we're doing what we felt was God's will. But we ran into trouble. We ran into serious trouble after we got married.
Yeah.
Within the second, third, fourth year or so of marriage, we were talking about divorce.
Yes.
You know?
Wow. We joked about it at first, and then it got serious.
And it got very serious when we moved to Chicago, because we moved to Chicago in 1975. Got married in 72. Moved to Chicago in 75, and things were not working for us at all. And so we sought help. And in seeking help, we discovered that the problem was that we were not properly prepared for marriage. You see, unfortunately for me, I didn't grow up in a home where I was seeing a father and mother being married, or husband and wife. I really grew up with my grandmother. And so I didn't know what marriage was all about. I was a novice to this thing. And being a novice and then not being properly prepared in terms of premarital counseling, the premarital counseling we got there was
two sentences. Are you Christians and do you love each other?
That was the sum total of our premarital counseling.
I saw some marriage officer who asked us that.
And that was it.
That was it.
And so when we ran into trouble, we didn't have a clue what to do. And we were in Chicago, so it was very easy to split up because we were in a foreign country. And but praise God, we got help from a Christian counselor.
Yes.
And that transformed my life, because it made me decide to do what I'm now doing. And not only that, it made me decide to develop a premarital counseling program that would save many people from what I went through.
Yes.
And we have developed one of the finest premarital counseling programs in the Caribbean.
Awesome. No, I want you, I'm just taking a little time here now, for you to encourage maybe a young couple that they've just gotten married and they're on a rocky path, because you had mentioned that before you were told, it was prophesied basically, that this is the woman you ought to marry, but then you were still experiencing challenges, so much so that you felt like this would be the end of it. So tell a young person, a young couple who believe that, okay, we thought that this is what God wanted, but it seems as if it's not. How can you encourage them?
So one of the things that we all need to recognize is that marriage has stages.
Yes.
The first stage of the marriage is the
honeymoon stage.
The honeymoon stage, you know.
Everything is roses and
fine. And especially when you're Christian and you have decided that you're going to wait until you get married before you have sex and all that. So the honeymoon becomes fantastic for you then. But what follows the honeymoon is the adjustment. And that can be rough, especially when you come from two different backgrounds. Like Bev and I came from two different backgrounds. And so adjustment was difficult. And so what I would say to folks who are going through the difficult time, I'd say, listen, marriage is difficult. There's no anybody say it's not difficult, they're lying. It is difficult. But that with God's help and with counsel and with guidance and with good role models. One of the things that also helped us, we had
an older couple
role model in some friends, Ronnie Hart and June Hart.
Yes.
We admired that couple. Their marriage really was impacting, and we thought that their marriage, we think, would have really been something that could help us, which it did. You know, we observed that. So what do you say to a young couple? You know, find a couple whose marriage is who you're impressed with as a married couple. Get guidance from them, observe them, seek counsel, get help because help is always available, and also make sure that you are sticking to. If you're Christians, make sure you're sticking to the word because the stronger you are in Christ, the closer you're drawn to each other.
Okay, great.
And not older couple, a couple who are Christians who know what they are about, their relationship with God, just that you are trying to be the relationship that you want with Jesus. So that's part of it.
The other thing I want to quickly say, and if there's one thing I want people to hear me say, and I'm sure Beverly will agree, is that marriage is about giving. It's not about getting.
That's right.
And if both people are committed to give to each other, they're going to end up getting from each other.
Yes.
But the focus must be on giving. And I think that is what has kept us through some difficult times.
Yes, definitely.
Our strong belief that marriage is about giving.
Yes.
And so we try to outgive each other sometimes.
Yes.
So we have a lot of nuggets of truth. Go ahead.
That's part of the commitment to being married, the giving to the other person.
So we've learned a couple of things there, and I want to summarize them just to make sure I'm getting them right, because I have to be taking notes along the line.
We need to be taking notes along the line because we're still in the honeymoon phase, I guess.
So one, we heard that premarital counseling is essential. Two, we heard that we need not just to have the theory of premarital counseling, but get practical about it and find a model couple, a Christian couple that we admire and who we've seen them working at their marriage and it's going, someone who we can model and pattern them. And we must never forget, yet we must have it at the front of our minds even, that marriage is about giving. And once you give yourself to giving, the getting will come.
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. Great.
You're a very good student.
Yeah, very good.
I'm learning.
Okay, so now we'll have some tips from your daughters.
My parents' strong faith in God was the main inspiration in my upbringing. I remember as a child, as early as I can remember, before any major decision was made in our family, we all had to pray about it. And my father went to school in different states. And I remember when he was making the last decision to go back to California to get his PhD, we really sat down as a family and, prayed about that decision. And although it was hard at the time because I was in school, you didn't want to leave your friends, I am so grateful and thankful for that experience. But I appreciate the experience, the knowledge, and the opportunities that I was able to be a part of because of being Beverly and Barry Davidson's daughter.
One of the greatest impacts that both my parents have had on us girls is that they've shown us how to live out our faith. They both, through their interactions with us and others, have shown us how to be better Christ followers. And in this, they have also encouraged us to find our own personal faith in God.
So one of the things that had a big impact on me was when Allison was sick, and I saw Uncle Barry come and he knelt down beside the bed and he prayed for her. And I think that's really awesome, for a father to to just express his love in that way, in praying for his child. And that has stuck with me for a very long time.
Wow. So we have heard from some pleased family members who have really admired your marriage and who are seeing the benefits of having been raised around you or in your household. So question there. When did children come and how did you decide when it was time?
And how many to have?
I don't know who decided when it happened. uh,
We got married in 72. Our first daughter, and Alison,
was born
in 75,
December 75. Our second daughter was born in September 78. And then we
we didn't
we didn't plan it.
we were using at that time the rhythm method, and the rhythm method failed us. Andrea was born, and we're so thankful to God for her.
Yeah, oh yes. Yeah. And then Lisa came along to us to foster while she was in high school. She and our older daughter Alice went to Vast Prep and were in the same farm together, and that's how we got to know her.
And Lisa came in for her life at a very crucial time because Alison, our eldest daughter, was left in the States where she was going to school in the States. And so Andrea was left here, but Andrea was with us by herself. And we have never been believers in only child.
No.
We always feel that children need to have someone that they can relate to so that they don't end up being selfish and so on. And so God just gave us Lisa.
Yes.
And she has been a real blessing to us. We're so thankful to God. She was our foster daughter. And because of Lisa and the positive experience we had with Lisa being our foster daughter, we are big into the foster parenting program that Family Life Ministry run now.
Yeah.
Awesome.
This has been one of the inspired it for us.
Yes. So the benefits
awesome.
Not benefit for her, but for us. And so we want other people to experience that. And Jamaica needs a lot of good foster parents. So we are praying.
Now, you mentioned the benefits. Oh, you were saying?
No, that's okay. Go ahead.
Oh, you mentioned that, the benefit for us. A lot of persons will think that the benefit is solely for the child. And I know we're skipping ahead, but I just wanted you to tell me some of the benefits that it was for you, that they were for you.
It was very helpful in many ways. And she was a child was grateful.
Yes.
And not only that, she really grew to love the Lord. And so she ended up being an inspiration to our daughter and our youngest daughter, an inspiration to her. And she was a living child,
She fitted in well.
Fitted in so well. Right now, our two biological daughters live in Atlanta, in Georgia, and Lisa is the one in Jamaica.
Yeah.
So, the benefit. If we're in a little crisis, we can always shout out to Lisa. So that's such a in so many ways, many ways she's been a blessing.
Yeah.
And biological, they're real sisters.
Yes.
They're very, very close. All three of them are extremely close.
And in fact, Lisa looks more like she could be my child because she's short and round like me and brown. And the other two are very tall and look like their dad. So people think that she's mine, and I say, "Oh yes, she is." I don't give them any other hint.
God works in mysterious ways, I tell you. So you had mentioned previously about the issues that you would have been facing while, the early part of your marriage. But what were and what are some of the triumphs that you faced and that you are currently facing in your marriage now?
We have recognized the importance of being on the same page. In Amos chapter 3, verse 3 says, can two walk together except they be agreed? And we have been able to agree on a number of things. Our faith in Christ, so Christian faith, is one of the greatest agreements. When we are committed to praying together. We believe in Matthew 6:6, which says, when you pray, enter into your closet, pray to your Father in secret, and your Father in secret will reward you openly. And we have seen so many rewards coming out of the closet praying.
The family, and when the children were all with us, and the devotions in the morning, we pray about what was needed, the things that we needed to have done, the things that needed to be provided for. And when we were able to see the answer that Lord provided, and we shared that, and we thank the Lord during devotions, the children were able to see that and know that we weren't just talking by, just so, that we really believe that God works things out for those who are obedient to Him. And we really thank the Lord for that.
A great miracle we had was when we were living in Chicago. We could not find anywhere to live. It was so expensive. And so we were staying with Professor Dave Carson. We were staying at his home. And we decided we're doing house hunting, and we had a hard time finding somewhere. And then there was a brand new complex, apartment complex that was built. And the friend who was carrying me around said, it's a waste of time to go there. It's brand new, so it's very expensive. But we went, and we asked the folks about it. And they told us that it was a two-bedroom would have been something like 490. And a one-bedroom, we were interested in a one-bedroom, although we had Alison, our daughter. And they said, no, you can't have a one, you need a two-bedroom. And we said, we can't afford it. And then the lady started to ask me about my accent. I said, I'm from Jamaica. And so, oh, I remember fun, I love her. And they were talking about a number of things. And then all of a sudden she said, listen, we can give you this two-bedroom for $79. I couldn't believe it. She said that there was a system with the government whereby if you are a foreign student, if you're a minority, if you are, and just let's five different qualifications, and we fitted all five. 79.
Yes, that was one of the
$79. Yes, 490, I think it was. We got it for 79. And for the entire time that we lived in a beautiful apartment, swimming pool, tennis court,
the supermarket next door, the shopping mall across the street,
a lake in front of us, and that had to be God.
Yes,
that must be God.
When we share this,
that sounds like a second honeymoon right there.
Yes.
So those were some of the ways. In many ways, we saw God work for us when we were living in America.
Yes, and even for Barry's studies and all of that, the way things worked out for him to be. And when we were going for the last stint, Gilbert, we missed Gilbert because we were already away.
When we left, or when we were going to do our doctorate, we left in somewhere in August. And Gilbert was in September.
Yes, I think so.
We missed it. But God has been good. We have gone through some challenging times in the States. We have seen God take us through some. And so our favorite song was Through It All.
Yes.
We've learned to trust in Jesus. We've learned to trust in God. If we never had a problem, we would know that God could solve them. We would know what faith in God could do.
Wow, that's amazing.
That is awesome. And even as we would have asked you about the triumphs that your marriage would have seen, I believe that 49 years and going is in itself a triumph. And we definitely want to continue to laud you for the effort that you put into, because marriage is hard work, as we're finding out ourselves. And we want to say, keep going, keep batting, and keep inspiring. On that note, we want to run into a break. But before we do, because when we come back, we definitely want to be sharing some more thoughts and views about this lovely couple. So send us those WhatsApp, whether voice notes or message. But if it's a voice note, the magic number is 30. 30 seconds. Send those voice notes or WhatsApp messages to 997-3125. Don't forget the 876. You may post on the Love 101 Facebook page and you may call the studio lines at 876 968 8327, 876 968 8328. We'll be right back.
Free blood sugar machine while stocks last. The time by Live Well Pharmacy is.
It is now 6 o'clock right here on Family Radio Love 101. I always do my best to stay in control of my expenses. So with Flow, I added my mobile to my home internet service and elevated my savings. I get 50% off my mobile plan each month. Yeah, man, I get a simple, predictable mobile bill of $1,600 plus GCT and never sign a contract nor made a deposit. And you can get this too. Add your mobile to your Flow home internet for elevated savings of 50% off your mobile plan each month. Visit the Flow store or discoverflow.co to sign up today.
Anytime you pay any grace products in your my friend, them a fi bust dance moves. A fi run to the pop and nigga near boy soup race food products. Never make it go down smooth. The taste can move you. Fuel the vibes anytime when the beer grace foods from the inside. Taste can move you. From the spices move you. Everybody shout out grace food sweet because good bad guys love. Good taste can move you. Grace bringing the food you love. Moves your vibe, your mood, or your appetite like the taste of grace.
Life comes at you fast and it can hit hard. Apply for the Credit Union Prepaid MasterCard from CNWJ with chip and PIN protection. Need a card with a personal line of credit for emergencies? We have that. Need a card you can use to shop online for that must-have item? We have that. The community and workers of Jamaica Prepaid MasterCard. All the convenience of a MasterCard. Discover the benefits of belonging.
For the first time ever, the annual Holy Convocation of the Emmanuel Apostolic Church will take place in the USA, hosted by Bishop Ernest McDonald in Miramar, Florida. Hi, this is Presiding Bishop Everton Thomas, inviting you to join us Wednesday to Sunday, July 14 to 18, under the theme, Unshakable, Standing Strong When Things Go Wrong. Visit emmanuelhq.org for live stream information. That's EMMANUELHQ.org. Stay blessed.
What makes my parents' marriage special? Marriage is not easy. And to stay married to someone for as long as they've been married, 49 years, that's a long time. But they make it look easy because, number one, God is first. And because of that reason, they know that they have to take care of each other and that no matter what, how hard things are or how hard things get, there's no turning back because they've promised to be there for each other for the rest of their lives.
Most people would not know that my parents are fun. Mom loves the arts. She especially likes music and occasionally will dancercise or do her jigging, as she would call it, to her favorite songs that would play on the radio. As for my dad, he loves games, specifically board games like checkers, Monopoly, and Scrabble. He is also very adventuresome, and when it comes to outdoor activities, he likes football, swimming, and maybe even ziplining.
Welcome back. You are tuned to Love 101 FM. This is Family Time, brought to you by Family Life Ministries. FLM provides counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. Listen out for our numbers in Kingston and Portmore at the end of this program. Remember, we're on Facebook and YouTube live. Yes, we are. So tune in to the program via the Love 101 Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Dr. Barry and Bev Davidson are our special guests. The Davidsons are the names mostly associated with the counseling organization of Family Life Ministries. We hear all the time the negatives about marriage. So we're going to find out soon what are the things that are so awesome about this wonderful institution called marriage. But first.
Right, so I heard that you are a football enthusiast. Let me ask, which team is your team?
You. Football enthusiast. You are the football enthusiast. Which team is your team?
You know, funny enough, I'm not so much into the sport stuff, although I'm a big supporter of Brazil. Uh, as you know, most Jamaicans tend to like Brazil, and they like Brazil. In my era, when I was like, growing up, Pele was the talk. You know, Pele was everybody's favorite. And
Maradona,
so
those
we,
other people.
Maradona in Argentina.
Mhm.
But Brazil has been my favorite team. I know that they lost to Argentina a couple of days ago, and that was not something that I was excited about. But Brazil is definitely my favorite team.
I can imagine it would have been a rough day had they lost on your anniversary. I'm really happy it was on the weekend and not today.
We're getting some text messages. They say, "Congratulations to the Davidson couple. I wish them all the best and enjoy listening to him. He's such a nice person." And we
The
have
other
another one.
It's great to hear from older couples. There is much to learn from their experiences.
And I agree with that because we're
And
learning. We're learning.
But there's a voice note, so let's go to that one and hear what that listener has to say.
It's good to get you, but not getting through the phone calls. Ah, yes, 49 years is a long time, as I hear your host's daughter is talking about it. But you know, the difference with a man and a woman who know their God, they shall be like Mount Zion, will not be moved. The only problem is we don't know our God. So a man who don't know him God definitely can love him wife like how Christ loved the church. So that is where we're falling short. And even some people who are Christian fall short big time. Not to say it's easy, but they are in it for the long haul. They went in it for the long haul. So in spite of what might happen, they are gonna stand. So I just want to say congratulations, 49 years and going strong. And I pray that a lot of us will take just a page from their book and try to work on our marriage and not just run to divorce. Okay, that's my little piece.
Okay, so we heard from that listener there. She's very excited.
Yeah.
And she mentioned something that Dr. Barry and Beverly would have mentioned as well, having Christ at the center of it all.
Is he still at the center?
Yeah, so definitely.
You would not be able to manage
Without it, yeah.
In fact, even coming on this program, we had to pray before doing so.
Oh, yes.
Look at that. Yes.
Very, very interesting. So, my wife would have mentioned, wow, my wife, that's an interesting thing to say. High five, we're still going. So, here we go. What are the eight?
Yes,
Good number eight?
Eight, second
What
number.
are 8 good things about being married?
For the skeptics out there who say that marriage isn't for them and they've heard too many sad stories, and as you rightly said, it's challenging. So why should I go into this challenging institution that will work my nerves and probably get me in a crazy house?
Are you testifying?
I'm not testifying. I'm just saying. Other
You
people.
know, you need to recognize that there are some bad marriages. There are some dysfunctional marriages. And a dysfunctional marriage is like hell on earth. A dysfunctional marriage is like being in prison. So we have to help our folks to recognize that marriage can be healthy. And when you are experiencing health in a marriage, it makes a big difference. You know, we spoke earlier about having the same values, having this, being in the same faith, having the same worldview. We spoke also about the importance of not only shared values, but also the fact that we need to be friends.
Yes, and that's what we were before we fell in love as such. Yes.
So a marriage can help you to find tremendous friendship with each other. I believe a husband's best friend of the opposite sex should be his wife, and a wife's best friend of the opposite sex should be her husband. Yes. So when you are in marriage and you are friends and your friendship is good, believe you me, it is very rewarding. Also, there is what we call intimacy. And intimacy is really me getting to know Bev and she getting to know me. You know, sometimes you might start a sentence or start to speak something and the other person finish it
Yes, because they know you well enough to do that.
That's
To know what you are saying.
about to say.
Yeah.
That's intimacy. And there are 5 levels in communication. The first level is cliche. And if in a marriage you're speaking primarily at a cliche level, you're not experiencing intimacy. The second level is factor gossip, where you speak about what's happening in the news, what's happening in social media, and so on. No intimacy or bonding takes place at that level. The third level is where is facts, is opinion rather, where you share your opinion one with each other. And if you can share your opinion and be able to agree to disagree and not end up in quarrels and malice and so on, you are really growing as a couple and you're experiencing it. Our opinions differ, but we have learned to respect each other's opinions. Our opinion differ in some things, but we agree in many things. For instance, we agree in politics are the same. but we disagree on some other things. So opinions. The fourth level is feelings, where you can share your feelings one for the other, and that's where intimacy and bonding increases. And the fifth is transparency, openness, where I don't have to. My phone is left for Beverly to go into it
and I don't need to check anything because I already know what he's up to.
The thing is this: we don't have to hide. We don't hide money from me. Intimacy is being totally transparent with each other, where you can trust each other, where you can be transparent with each other, where you can be open with each other, where the other person can say, "Listen, I heard you speak in your sleep last night. That is what I heard." And we can laugh about it. And so intimate, and that marriage allows real intimacy to take place, because marriage is built on trust. And intimacy and transparency is about trust.
Yes.
And that's one of the big things of marriage.
So we have what? We have intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
You have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
You also have someone that you can rely on.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any more?
Yes. You're gonna, in every marriage there is conflict.
Yes.
And it is how to learn to fight fair.
Yeah.
So we avoid name calling, for instance. You must avoid name calling. You don't want to say things about the other person that you're going to end up regretting. But you're going to have conflict. And it is how to resolve your conflict in a very constructive, healthy way. How to be able to make a distinction between the person and what the person is. For instance, Beverly, in our early days, Beverly used to burn the dinner. But then I realized she was really treating me like a god, giving me burnt offering. But so we had to make the distinction between the dinner being burnt and the person. So it wasn't that she was a lousy cook, it was that the dinner was burnt. And so if I was to call her a lousy cook, then we would be having, I wouldn't get anything again.
I tell you, ever again, because women are very sensitive about that cooking thing.
The only thing that I had to learn very early in our marriage is that I had to learn to respect Beverly, because she might seem very accommodating, but when she gets tough, she's tough. And you have to apologize or else.
I did.
And so we have learned to apologize. We have learned to say sorry. We have learned to use the word please. We have learned to, and we challenge each other to be. In fact, it's more me who get the challenge, because Beverly is a nicer person than me. You might have, when we celebrated, is it 45 years? Beverly, a friend of Beverly asked her, "What are you going to get Barry for being married to you for 45 years?" She said, "I'm going to take him to London." So the friend says, "If you're going to take him to London for 45, what are you going to do for the 50th?" She says, "I'm going to go back and get him."
Yes. I say absence makes the heart go fonder. Wondering. So it's not wondering. It's going to be fonder. So I'm going
so learning to fight fair is crucial. We can have conflict. Anybody tell you that they have quarrels, they're not telling the truth. but it's to do it in a way that doesn't allow either of you to regret what you might have said. The other thing is the big thing for us, really, is tolerance.
Yes.
Tolerance. Tolerance. What we have learned about tolerance is that, for instance, what have you have learned? What have you tolerated?
Lately, the snoring. Yes. It's a very strange sound, but I've learned to, and I've fallen asleep with the snoring going on, so I must be tolerating it very well.
What I've learned to tolerate is her lateness. Beverly is always late.
Yes, most times. Most times.
Most times. Most times.
Not always.
Yeah, always. Yeah, not always, but most times. But here's what we have learned about tolerance. We have learned that if you focus on that which bothers you, then it might be just 10% enough. But because you talk about it so much, it begins to feel like 90%. And so you might have 70% of things going very well, but that 70% is just taken for granted. So we have learned, we're trying to make sure the things that are difficult, we have tried to make it the peripheral.
Yeah.
And the things that are solid, that we enjoy, we try to make it the core.
We don't major in the minors.
Okay.
We major in the things that are good. That's the major part of being together.
Great. Tolerance is important, we feel. So you make that which is good, you make it the core, and that which is not great, you make it the peripheral. And that's what we are still learning that.
Yes.
And it's a learning thing for us.
So being the good student that I'm really wanting to be, let me make a summary here again. So I think 3 things that really jumped out at me just now from all you said.
And those are tips for marriages?
Yes, they are. Not just for me, but for other marriages out there. The 3 things I noted. 1, you noted that we should fight fair, which you didn't say fights won't come, but it's how you deal with the conflicts and you separate the person from the actual thing that's the issue.
Amen. Yeah.
Wow.
You heard well. You heard well. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then you also mentioned that at times, that one seems to be slipping me.
Tolerance.
Tolerance, right. But you also noted that the simple things you don't take for granted, because words like please and thank you and sorry, we generally say, well, we're married. I didn't mean it. I always am nice. So I don't need to say those words. But those words were big for you. And I made a note of that as well. And I realized that you both laughed together. And I thought that one was very, very good for us to know.
So what's the 4th one? Don't major in the minor.
Right. Don't major in the minors.
Yeah.
So we have a comment and a clip. So here we go with the first comment that we have. Happy 49th anniversary to our now favorite B&B, the Davidsons. Thanking God for your ministry and for you. Thank you for being willing to share your testimony and support this inspiring young couple. Testimony and your support, thus inspiring younger couples like us to live a victorious marriage. Continued blessings from Trudy and David Mack.
Oh, yes, we know who that is.
Okay,
good friends, yes.
Okay, and we now have a clip. Yes. I wonder who this will be. Let's listen.
Their relationship is special because of the commitment they have to God and to each other. And you just know that it's for life, till death do us part. And I think that's what makes the relationship so very special.
Wonderful. Now we're almost over. The program is almost over, but we just want to get in terms of fostering, right? We had, and interestingly enough, it was Lisa. Yes,
Lisa. Yeah.
Even the clip a while ago. For the parents or for the persons who believe that fostering is only for when you can't have children, how do you address persons like that? Because you have 2 lovely daughters, but yet you decided that you were going to foster this young lady. So speak to those parents who feel like, okay, I have my child, I don't need to foster anymore?
Fostering is giving someone an opportunity in life that probably if you didn't, they would not have gotten.
Yes.
I've always felt that there are four crucial things that people need to be very successful in their life. They need to have a relationship with God. I think they need to have ability. They need to have opportunity. They need to have ambition. We have a lot of young people, a lot of youngsters, a lot of children in this country, tremendous ability, very ambitious, but just need the opportunity.
Yeah.
And what a foster parent can do is to provide that opportunity. And what a tremendous thing to be able to provide a child with some opportunity, and that child now is the one who's such a blessing to society.
Yes.
There are many who never got the opportunity and were either in prison or who have died before their time or who have engaged in some things that are not healthy. And so fostering is providing an opportunity for someone who in turn will end up being a tremendous asset to society.
Yes.
And for those who are planning to take on fostering or even adopting and they have biological children and they're kind of concerned and saying, we don't want the biological child to feel as though, another child is coming to take over, and we don't want the foster child to be treated as a second class daughter or son. How did you manage that? Give us some tips for those who are heading in that direction.
I think it's very important to recognize that children need to be treated equally. I think it's important to realize also that that a healthy self-esteem is one in which you don't see yourself better than someone or see yourself less than someone. And so it is a tremendous opportunity to allow your own biological children to grow up to see the need of sharing, the need of feeling like they're equal, because that's what's going to make you a very powerful person in society. When you are able to when you've been raised where you can dine with kings and walk with paupers because you're so confident in yourself and you're so happy in your own skin, and it helps children to have others working with them who might not be of the same biological parent, but they have learned to play together, to live together, to work together, to love together. It certainly can impact on the person's life and make them very healthy.
Yes.
Wonderful. And just to ask, is there an appropriate time to foster?
You foster a child because that child is in need to be fostered. We do not believe that children should be raised in institutions. Children should be raised in families.
Yes.
And I would love to see us close down all of those government-run institutions with children. I'd love to see those children move into families. And so the time is now.
Yes.
And if you're interested, call Family Life Ministries. We would be more than happy to assist you. Family Life Ministries is in partnership with CPFSA and Nairn's Family Home. Nairn's run one of the finest foster care program in Canada, and CPFSA is the government agency in charge of children. And we're in partnership with both of these institutions, organizations. And we would really love to be able to assist you if you would like to foster a child.
That is wonderful. And I don't have to ask that this is something that you prayed about and the Lord laid it on your heart to do so.
Yes. There's absolutely no doubt. God, before we even understood it, brought Lisa into our life because He knew long down the road that we would have been getting involved in this foster care program. And as I said, Lisa inspired me to be able to want to do this.
Yes.
Right. So we actually have.
And I want to say thanks to my two daughters, Alice and Andrea. Alice has been the pioneer. She's a go-getter, and we thank God for her. And Andrea is the one who is very tight to her mom, And so we love all three children very,
Yes.
very well.
And we have grandchildren, so we are very happy.
Yeah.
Yes, we have lived
How many
long enough
grandchildren
for
do
that.
you have?
We have between Lisa and Alison. Alison is our older biological daughter. She has 4, and Lisa is 3. Andrea is single, and she's auntie in charge.
She's really very committed to her nieces and nephews.
Oh, yes.
Very, very committed to them. In fact, she seems as if she doesn't want to get her own because she's so committed to the that she has. But we're thankful for the children and the grandchildren. Our eldest granddaughter is about what?
23. So she's
23
older.
or 25.
She's 23.
Oh, wow.
She's older than when we got married. So,
Look at that.
yes.
Wow. Indeed. Oh,
This is why we need each other, because when I'm wrong, she's right. Beverly's right. One of the things I've learned about marriage too is the importance of complementing each other, complementarity.
Yeah.
It's as the older we get, we're finding that complementarity is so crucial.
Yeah.
In fact, sometimes I think it's more important than compatibility.
Yeah.
It's a combination of both that you can.
Yes.
I shall. That was such a lovely way to say it.
Yes, it was.
Good job. Yeah.
But we have some comments that we have from our listeners and viewers. One says, "Good evening. I'm inspired by this beautiful couple. Happy anniversary. Marriage does take work. Great tips and encouragement. May God bless you both continually."
Another one. Bev and Barry, congrats from Sylvan and Rosie. Barry, your counseling is still working almost 33 years later. Thanks for the good job you did. There is a specific joke we have a laugh at, and your name is always called. You always ... And we'd say we are going to call Barry and whoever said it, because that exaggeration will definitely not work. Many things in life are challenging, but we don't give up on work, driving, shopping. We have to work through it.
Yeah.
Congrats again.
God bless them.
Yes.
God bless Sylvan and Rosie.
And I realize that you have left a legacy, which is very important. And I'm sure that this is really what God has intended, not for your work to stop at you, but for it to extend to others in the nation. That is wonderful. That is awesome.
By the way, how is Family Life Ministries?
Family Life Ministries is a tremendous ministry where we are the largest counseling center in the entire Caribbean. We've been
years now.
We have been family. In fact, we'll be celebrating 40 years in 2023.
Yes.
We'll be 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to retire then, by the way.
So we are asking everybody to pray for the Lord to send the right people to take over.
Well, we shall. And we
one
have.
of the things that we're very excited about, Beverly is the one who keeps track on this, but we have worked with a lot of folks in premarital counseling, and we're very happy to say that you just heard from Sylvan and Rosie, who we did premarital counseling with. We have about 80% success rate in premarital counseling and a 20% failure rate.
Yes.
So 80% of the people we've worked with are still married and still going on. 20% is where we have failed. But one of the things that is also important is that in premarital counseling, quite a few folks who would come to us end up not getting married because they and us realize that it's not going to work. And we believe it's far better to break up before than to break up after.
Yes, yes.
And that is powerful. That is very powerful. Beautiful. Well, time has gone. Look at the time.
6:29.
Can I tell you? Oh my gosh. But it was lovely, lovely having you. And before we wrap up, today's your anniversary. So come, for those who are on YouTube, for those who are on Facebook, I'm sorry for those who are on radio, you can't see what I'm going to ask them to do. But I'm going to ask you, Dr. Barry, you're ready to come.
And although what you miss is how it's done 49 years later. 1, 2, 3. You may kiss your bride.
Again.
Again.
Beautiful. Thanks for being here with us. If you have any questions whatsoever of a personal nature or otherwise, if you're concerned about a friend or a family member, call us at Family Life Ministries. For our center in Portmore at 117 Cecile Avenue, call 876-939-7917. For counselors in Kingston and other parts of the island, contact our head office at 876-920-1034 or 876-926-8101, and we will connect you. Remember, if you or someone you know would like counseling on dealing with any issue in family, relationships, or just everyday life, please contact a Family Life Ministries counselor. Note that appointments can only be made by calling the offices. Otherwise, to keep up to date with what's happening with FLM and or programs, find us on Facebook at FLM Family Life Ministries, on Instagram at FLMJA, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries FLMJA.
Before we leave you though, here is this evening's verse. I know somebody was listening out for it. Ecclesiastes 4:12. Though one may be overpowered, two can defend themselves. A cord of 3 strands is not quickly broken. Join us again next week, same time, same place. That is 5:30 p.m. on Love 101 FM. Of course, you may also join us on Facebook, YouTube, and via the Love 101
YouTube channel for another informative program.
So, thanks again to our special guests, Dr. Barry and Davidson. We have learned a whole lot. Thanks also to our show producer, Kathy Gale, Open Door Communications studio facilitator, Neeson Williams, and of course, you. Stay well and stay safe, and of course, stay blessed. We are Audra and AnTwain Williams.
You know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child? We Jamaicans have been practicing this for years, a long time sing ting. There's a family in need, a child in distress. You open your heart and home to love up the child as your own. Them glad bag bus and yours too for years and years to come. Jamaican Christians, we need you to come in and fill up the village. Taking a child and raise him as your own. Taking a child and build up the nation. Ask Family Life Ministries about the For the Child Foster Care Program. Call 876-816-0889 today. This message is brought to you by Family Life Ministries,